long making that time. I mean, making that long. The older guy.
Hey, come on out. Sit down first. All the way across. Excuse me. Come on out. Arms in your shirt.
Come up a little bit more. Come up a little more. Right. Put your arms behind your back. Everybody needs to have their arms behind their back. Now hands folded in front of them.
All right, are you all ready? Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, good morning. I'm Judge Salvia Smith Fox. I'm going to preside over your first appearance hearings this morning. It is June 21st, 2020. Let me have all the defendants please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the information you provided on your court appointment form, application for appointed counsel, is true and correct? So help you God. If so, say I do.
I do.
All right, thank you. You all can put your hands down. Want to go over a few things with you so you understand the nature of these proceedings. I'm not here to try your case this morning or to take a plea in your case. Instead, I'm here to appoint an attorney to represent you, to let you know what you are charged with, to let you know if you have a bond, and if so, what that bond amount is, and also to schedule a preliminary hearing. You have the right to remain silent and say nothing, but should you give up this right, anything you say during this proceeding may be used against you if your case goes to trial. During this and all other proceedings, you have the right to the presumption of innocence until the state proves your guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. The right to indictment by grand jury for most felonies and by accusation for misdemeanors. The right to a speedy and public trial by jury. The right to see, hear, and cross-examine all witnesses that are called to testify against you. The right to compel the attendance of witnesses in your own behalf and by subpoena. The right to testify and offer other evidence in your own defense should you choose to do so. But should you choose not to do so, no presumption of your guilt may be raised. You have the right to be represented by an attorney. I'm going to appoint an attorney to represent each one of you. If you decide later to retain your own attorney, then your court-appointed attorney will be released from representation. Some of you will be allowed to post unrestricted bonds for your release from jail pending prosecution of the case, which may be cash, commercial, or property. If you post a cash bond, someone will deliver the full amount of the bond in cash together with applicable mandated fees to the sheriff's office, who will hold it until your final court date, at which time the cash bond will be returned to whoever posted it. You don't have the full amount in cash, you can go through a commercial bonding company approved by the sheriff. Someone will have to pay that company up to 15% of the total bond as their fee for their service, and this fee will not be returned to you. Someone may post a bond using their property if they have net equity in their property in an amount equal to 3 times the total amount of the bond. All of you all will have a special condition which prohibits you from violating any laws while you are out on bond. Some of you will have additional special conditions which will prohibit you from contacting certain people or going to or around certain places. Understand that the court takes these special conditions very seriously. The special conditions will be provided to you on a separate form. You will also be prohibited from calling or having other contact with the victim while you are in jail. Should you violate the court's order, your bond will be revoked and you will not be entitled to another bond while you are awaiting trial. An additional charge of aggravated stalking, influencing a witness, or other charges as the law may provide could be brought against you, or you could be sentenced up to 10 years in prison and a $10,000 fine. For family members who are assisting you in posting bond, they will be provided your bond information at the conclusion of this hearing. If a family member is a victim on the warrant and there is a special condition that you are to have no contact with that family member, he or she will not be allowed to post the bond. Some of you have charges for which this court is not authorized by law to set bail. In this event, a bond hearing will be scheduled before a superior court judge, and you will be informed of that date. If you are currently on active probation, this court is not authorized to set a bond. Your bond can be reconsidered after your probation officer has an opportunity to determine if they wish to file a warrant for violation of your probation, usually during your preliminary hearing. The purpose of your preliminary hearing is to determine if there is enough evidence or probable cause for the charges to justify keeping you detained until such time as your case goes to trial. For those of you that are charged with misdemeanors only, your preliminary hearing would be set for July 28th. You'll have the option of waiving that hearing if you want to expedite your case to state court and get a hearing date maybe within a couple of weeks, usually 7 to 10 business days. If you have felony charges, you will not have the option to waive your preliminary hearing. You'll have to wait and speak with an attorney first before you decide to waive your preliminary hearing. All right, so I'm going to call you all up each individually so I can go over your case with you. I'm going to start with the females first. All right, let me have Tiffany Baker. And after Miss Baker will be Jamie Boyland. All right. Good morning. Are you Miss Baker?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, move a little bit to your right. Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I just couldn't see you in the camera. It was like facing the wall a little bit.
There she is.
Okay. Yeah, that's good.
There's I.
All right, Miss Baker, you are charged with, let's see, false identification, criminal damage to property in the second degree. On the first charge, your bond is $2,000. On the criminal damage, $5,000. You have a special condition not to violate any laws while on bond. Ma'am, do you waive the formal reading of your charges or do you want them read to you?
I want them read to me.
All right, the probable cause affidavit indicates on June 20th, 2020 in Clayton County, Georgia, at 4120 Murray Lake Circle in Forest Park, said offender did intentionally, knowingly possess identification without the permission or consent of the other person for a lawful purpose. This offender intentionally damaged property of another person without his consent and exceeds $500. This took place in Clayton County. The identification possessed was a social security card and driver's license. The damage was one slashed tire, one broken bedroom window, a car key, and a broken rear car window. The estimated total value was $1,150. Ma'am, I have appointed an attorney to represent you. Do you believe you'll be able to post your $7,000 bond?
That's what I was asking. I know this is not a formal trial, but the false identification.
All right, I can't go into the facts with you because I can't give you any legal advice from the bench.
No,
So
right.
You'll be able to kind of speak with your attorney if you have any questions about the charge.
Okay.
Do you think you're going to be able to post your $7,000 bond?
What's the percentage? So it's gonna cost how much? Roughly, it's 10%, so 700, 15%. Ballpark. I'm not good with
Okay. And ma'am, your preliminary hearing is going to be set for July 27th at 8 o'clock in courtroom 203. July 27th at 8 in courtroom 203.
Okay.
All right, thank you, ma'am. All right, next I have Jamie Lee Boyland, and then after Miss Boyland will be Tomalicia Brewer. Are you Miss Boyland? Are you Miss Boyland?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Good morning, ma'am. You are charged with driving under the influence, 3 counts of child endangerment by DUI, restricted license, possession of marijuana, 1 ounce or less, improper turn signal, center turn lane violation. After reviewing the warrant, I did not find probable cause for the driving under the influence. I did not find probable cause for the 3 counts of child endangerment by DUI. I did not find probable cause for the license restrictions. So those 5 charges, I have dismissed those 5 charges. You have the 3 remaining charges of, and that's because the officer did not include probable cause information in the warrant. Possession of marijuana, your bond is $1,500. The improper turn signal and it's $500, and the center turn lane violation is $500. So for your total bond is $2,500. You have a special condition not to violate any laws while you are on bond. Ma'am, do you waive the formal reading of your charges, or do you want them read to you? Do you want me to read the probable cause affidavit, or do you understand what you're charged with the marijuana and the?
You said marijuana.
You understand what you're charged with?
The turn signal and the improper turn.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. And I'm going to appoint an attorney to represent you. Do you think you'll be able to post your $2,500 bond?
If not, can I waive my trial and go within the 7 to 10 days?
Yes.
I would like.
They'll have you sign a waiver there, and then you'll be excused to go back with the deputy. All right, and you'll get your court date to go to state court. Okay.
Can I still bond out?
Yeah.
Yes, you can still bond out, and if you bond out, then they'll give you your next court date in the mail. They'll send it to you in the mail.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you, ma'am. Tomalicia Brewer, and after Miss Brewer will be Alan Taquashia Dixon.
What did she say?
Are you Miss Brewer?
Yes, I am.
All right, good morning, ma'am. You are charged with theft by shoplifting. You have a $2,000 bond. Obstructing an officer, you have a $2,000 bond for a total of $4,000. You have a special condition not to return to or go upon the premises located at the Family Dollar at 5638 Riverdale Road in Riverdale, Georgia. Also not to violate any laws while on bond. Ma'am, do you waive the formal reading of your charges, or do you want them read to you?
What's better for me?
I can read it to you, ma'am. The probable cause affidavit states that on June 20th, 2020 in Clayton County, Georgia, at 5638 Riverdale Road in Riverdale, Georgia, said offender did commit the above offenses: theft by shoplifting and obstructing an officer. Ms. Brewer took possession of merchandise out of Family Dollar store. The offender stole air freshener pods, air freshener plugs, protein staging gel, ladies gray net shoes, and some soap that totaled to $19.52. The said offender knowingly and willingly resists when she ran away from Officer Kroom. When I asked her multiple times to stop running in order to obtain the offender, the said offender was running with a bag in her hand. This occurred in Clayton County. Ma'am, I'm going to appoint an attorney to represent you. Do you think you'll be able to post your $4,000 bond?
No.
Would you like to waive your preliminary hearing to expedite your case to state court?
Which one is better?
I can't give you any legal advice, so it's your option. You can have a preliminary hearing in magistrate court on July 28th. If you want to waive that hearing and get in court, in state court sooner, and like within 2 weeks, then you can waive that hearing and then you'll get a court date for state court.
I think what I would do is waive it and get it in for state court.
Okay, so ma'am, they will have a waiver form for you to sign. And then you'll get your court date later for state court, and then you'll be excused.
An appointed attorney.
Yes, they should come visit you in the jail or however they're doing visitations now. I'm not sure, but I've appointed an attorney to represent you. Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, I would like to waive it and take it to state court.
Okay, so they'll have a waiver for you to sign.
Okay, well, so I'll get into court sooner.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. All right, Ms. Dixon, and after Ms. Dixon will be Whitney Ferris. All right, and you're Taquasia Dixon?
Taquasia Dixon, yes, ma'am.
All right. Ma'am, you are charged with criminal trespass. Your bond is $2,000. You have a special condition not to violate any laws while you're out on bond, and no violent or harassing contact with Marlon McCoy. Do you understand that, ma'am?
I understand.
All right. Do you waive the formal reading of your charges, or do you want them read to you?
You can read them to me, that's fine.
All right. The probable cause affidavit indicates that on June 20th, 2020 in Clayton County, Georgia, at 5116 Highway 85 in Forest Park, said offender did commit the offense of criminal trespass when she intentionally damaged the property of another, Marlon McCoy, by punching the side mirrors of his 2005 Chevy Equinox, Georgia temporary tag S0390508. The offender admitted to damaging the property after a verbal argument. The victim and offender have a child together. There was less than $500 in damages. The offense occurred in Clayton County, Georgia. Ma'am, I've appointed an attorney to represent you. Do you believe you'll be able to post your $2,000 bond?
Yeah.
All right, do you want to waive your preliminary hearing?
No, ma'am, I'll wait till the 28th.
All right, it will be set for 7/28 at 8 o'clock in room 203. If you bond out before that date, that hearing will automatically be waived and you'll get your next court date in the mail. Thank you, ma'am.
And you said July 28th, that's correct, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh. All right, Whitney Ferris. After Ms. Ferris will be Ashanti Harrington. All right, are you Ms. Ferris?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, good morning, ma'am. You are charged with battery. Your bond is $4,000. You're also charged with cruelty to children in the 3rd degree. Your bond is $2,000 on that charge. You have a special condition to stay away and have no contact with Anton Beck and not to violate any laws while on bond. Ma'am, do you waive the formal reading of your charges or do you want them read to you?
You can read them to me.
All right, the probable cause affidavit indicates on June 20th, 2020 in Clayton County, Georgia, at 3130 Summer Court Drive in Jonesboro, said offender did intentionally cause physical bodily harm to the victim, Anton Beck, by punching, slapping him while they were in the car. Said victim has a cut in his mouth from the confrontation. The altercation also happened in front of the victim offender's child they have together, Rylan Ferris, making this a family violence incident. All events occurred in Clayton County, Georgia. Ma'am, I'm going to appoint an attorney to represent you. Do you believe you'll be able to post your $6,000 bond?
Yes.
You want to waive your preliminary hearing?
No, ma'am.
All right, it will be set for July 28th at 8 o'clock in courtroom 203. Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah.
All right. Ashanti Harrington. After Ms. Harrington will be Sherry Johnson. Are you Ms. Harrington? Are you Ms. Harrington?
Ma'am.
All right. Good morning,
Yes, ma'am.
ma'am. You are charged with simple assault. Your bond is $3,000. You have a special condition not to violate any laws while on bond and to have no violent or harassing contact with Nicholas Byrd. Do you understand that, ma'am?
Yeah.
All right, do you waive the formal reading of your charges or do you want them read to you?
Wanna read them?
All right, the probable cause affidavit indicates that on June 20th, 2020 in Clayton County, Georgia, at 8263 Kendrick Road in Jonesboro, said offender attempted to strike her brother, Nicholas Byrd, with a closed fist. The offender committed the act, which placed him in reasonable fear of receiving injury. The above action was witnessed by her sister, Leasia Byrd. The above occurred in Clayton County, Georgia. All right. I'm going to appoint an attorney to represent you. Do you believe you'll be able to post your bond, ma'am? Maybe.
Maybe.
All right. Do you want to waive your preliminary hearing to expedite your case to state court?
No, ma'am.
All right. It'll be set for July 28th at 8 o'clock in courtroom 203. Thank you, ma'am. All right, Sherry Johnson. After Ms. Johnson will be Amanda Marlowe. Are you Ms. Johnson? All right, good morning, ma'am. You are charged with theft by receiving stolen property. Your bond is $7,500. You have a special condition not to violate any laws while on bond. Ma'am, do you waive the formal reading of your charges or do you want them read to you? All right. And ma'am, I'm going to appoint an attorney to represent you. Do you think you'll be able to post your $7,500 bond?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Your preliminary hearing is set for July 27th at 8 o'clock in courtroom 203. Now, if you bond out, that hearing will be waived, but you'll get your next court date in the mail. All right. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Amanda Marlowe, and after Ms. Marlowe will be Lakita Phelps. Morning. Are you Ms. Marlowe? Are you Ms. Marlowe? All right. Ma'am, you are charged with violation of the Georgia Controlled Substances Act for possession of cocaine. Your bond is $5,000. You have a special condition not to violate any laws while on bond. Ma'am, do you waive the formal reading of your charges or do you want them read to you?
I already know what my charges are.
Okay. And I'm going to appoint an attorney to represent you. Do you think you'll be able to post your $5,000 bond?
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
I'm available on property app.
Okay. Your preliminary hearing is set for July 27th at 8 o'clock in courtroom 203. Now, if you bond out before July 27th, that hearing will automatically be waived and you'll get your next court date in the mail. All right, thank you, ma'am. Next, I have Lakita Phelps. After Ms. Phelps will be Jolie Spites. Good morning. Are you Ms. Phelps?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, good morning, ma'am. You are charged with simple battery. Your bond is $4,000. You have a special condition to stay away and have no contact with Chavez Stewart. Also not to return to or go upon the premises located at 9139 Raven Drive in Jonesboro. If you have any personal property at that location, you can contact the sheriff's office when you're released from jail to schedule an appointment to get an escort to take you back to that property one time to get your personal belongings. Also, a special condition not to violate any laws while you are on bond. Ma'am, do you waive the formal reading of your charges or do you want them read to you? All right. Ma'am, I'm going to appoint an attorney to represent you. Do you think you'll be able to post your $4,000 bond?
No, ma'am. I don't know.
Do you want to waive your preliminary hearing to expedite your case to state court?
What is that?
So your preliminary hearing is your probable cause hearing in magistrate court. It would be set for July 28th. You can have that hearing or you can waive that hearing. If you waive that hearing, you'll get a hearing in state court probably in about 2 weeks.
Okay,
You want to waive that hearing and go to state court?
yes, ma'am.
All right, so they will have a waiver form for you to sign there at the jail, and then you will be excused. Thank you, ma'am. And Jolie Spites, and then La Destiny Walker. Are you Miss Spites? Are you Miss Spites?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, good morning, ma'am. You are charged with violation of the Georgia Controlled Substances Act for possession of cocaine. Use on your bond is $5,000. Use or possession of drug-related objects, your bond is $1,000. Interference with government property, your bond is $5,000. So you have a total of $11,000. Special condition not to violate any laws while you are on bond. Ma'am, do you waive the formal reading of your charges or do you want them read to you?
I don't know what that means.
All right, let me read them to you. On June 20, the probable cause affidavit indicates on June 20th, 2020 in Clayton County, Georgia, at 6025 Old Dixie Road, R117, Forest Park, Georgia, said offender did commit the above offenses: possession of cocaine, possession of drug-related objects, when offender was witnessed by this officer hiding a dark in color blunt object inside her waistband while she was gathering her items during the call. This offender then witnessed the offender attempt to place it in a blue and colored duffel bag. Once this officer advised the offender to hand over what she currently was possessing, that is, when the defender handed me a brown and colored crack pipe stem with white substance inside. The offender then handed over a clear sandwich baggie withholding a very small amount of white and colored substance as well. These substances were then field tested, which returned positive for cocaine. During the field testing of the substance, the offender repeatedly stated, "That's my stem, all that SHIT is mine." This incident occurred in Clayton County. All right, for the interference with government property, June 20th, 2020 in Clayton County, Georgia, at 9157 Terra Boulevard in Jonesboro, said offender did commit the offense of interference with government property when she used the telephone inside holding cell IH6 and struck the phone against the wall, breaking the phone, which is provided by the Clayton County Sheriff's Office. Ma'am, I'm going to appoint an attorney to represent you. Do you believe you will be able to post your $11,000 bond?
I don't know.
Okay. Your preliminary hearing is set for July 27th at 8 o'clock in courtroom 203. Thank you, ma'am. La Destiny Walker. After Ms. Walker will be Brittany Wilson. Are you Ms. Walker?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, good morning, ma'am. You are charged with driving on a suspended or revoked license. Your bond is $1,500. I'm gonna release you on your own recognizant and let you post a signature bond. You will have a special condition not to violate any laws while you are out on bond. Ma'am, do you waive the formal reading of your charges or do you want them read to you?
You can read it, please.
The probable cause affidavit indicates on June 20th, 2020 in Clayton County, Georgia, at Burnham Drive, Sterling Ridge Lane in Jonesboro, said offender did commit the act of operating a motor vehicle with a suspended license while passing through a road safety check. Said offender was stopped on Burnham Drive and Sterling Ridge Lane and asked for her license. It was confirmed that said offender has a suspended license on GCIC. Suspended date of June 6, 2016. Serve date, June 9th, 2016. Reason failure to appear. Said offender was driving a 09 Mercedes E-Class, temporary tag 72271P2, Texas. This took place in Clayton County. All right. So ma'am, I'm going to appoint an attorney to represent you. Since I'm releasing you on a signature bond, they'll have a waiver form for you to sign to waive the preliminary hearing, and you'll get your next court date in the mail.
All right, thank you.
All right, thank you, ma'am. All right, Brittany Wilson. After Miss Wilson will be Karen Woods. All right. Good morning, ma'am. Are you Miss Wilson?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. You are charged with speeding, 21 to 25 or over. Your bond is $500 on that charge. You're charged with no license. Your bond is $1,000 on that charge. And you're charged with driving with a suspended license. Your bond is $1,500 on that charge. All right. You have a special condition not to violate any laws while you are out on bond. Ma'am, do you waive the formal reading of your charges, or do you want them read to you?
You can read them to me.
All right, the probable cause affidavit indicates on June 20th, 2020 in Clayton County, Georgia at 5758 Highway 85. Ms. Wilson was in violation of the following: speeding. Ms. Wilson was traveling 68 miles per hour in a 45 mile per hour zone. License, none. Violation, Ms. Wilson does not have a valid driver's license. Driving while license suspended. Ms. Wilson's driver's license has been suspended since May 25th, 2012. Ms. Wilson also has a warrant through the Clayton County Sheriff's Office, warrant number 2013 CR 05339. This incident occurred in Clayton County. I'm going to appoint an attorney to represent you. Do you believe you'll be able to post your bond, ma'am?
For these other charges, yes, ma'am.
All right. And do you want to waive your preliminary hearing to expedite your case to state court?
That means I would have a sooner court date, right?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So they will have a waiver form for you to sign, and then you'll be excused to go back with the deputy. Thank you, ma'am.
You come up here. Leave the pen right there.
Oh.
All right, Karen Woods, and after Miss Woods, I'll start with the males with Trevor Bronner.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Are you Miss Woods?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, good morning, ma'am. You're charged with discharging a firearm while under the influence of alcohol. Your bond is $4,000. You have a special condition not to violate any laws while on bond. Ma'am, do you waive the formal reading of your charges, or do you want them read to you?
You can read them.
All right. The probable cause affidavit indicates on June 20th, 2020 in Clayton County, Georgia at 1365 Conley Road, apartment B3 in Conley, Georgia. Said offender did commit the offense of discharging a firearm while under the influence of alcohol when Karen Woods admitted to drinking 3 shots and 2 beers and then going outside 2 hours later and firing off 8 shots into the ground with her high .9 millimeter to release anger. Woods volunteered to submit to a breath test, preliminary, and blew a positive result. This incident occurred in Clayton County, Georgia. Ma'am, I'm going to appoint an attorney to represent you. Do you believe you'll be able to post your $4,000 bond? Do you want to waive your preliminary hearing to expedite your case to state court?
So what do that mean?
Your preliminary hearing would be July 28th, or you can waive that hearing to get a sooner date in about 2 weeks in state court.
Okay, so that mean I'll be in jail for 2 weeks.
Well, before your hearing, or unless you bond out, because you do have a $4,000 bond. So do you want to waive it and get a hearing in state court?
Yeah.
All right, so they'll have a waiver form there for you to sign, and then you'll be excused to go with the deputy. Thank you, ma'am. Trevor Bronner, and after Mr. Bronner will be Ronald Bird. All right. Good morning, sir. Are you Mr. Bronner?
Yes.
All right. You are charged with driving on a suspended license. Your bond is $1,500. You have a special condition not to violate any laws while on bond. Sir, I'm going to release you on your own recognizance and let you sign a signature bond. Just don't drive if your license is suspended, right?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Do you waive the formal reading of your charges, or do you want them read to you?
I waive it.
All right. I'm going to appoint an attorney to represent you. Since I'm letting you sign a signature bond, you'll need to sign a waiver of your preliminary hearing, and you'll get your next court date in the mail.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Ronald Bird. And then next will be Juan Cooper.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Are you Mr. Bird?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Good morning, sir. Sir, you are charged with criminal trespass. Your bond is $2,500. You have a special condition not to violate any laws while on bond. Also to have no violent or harassing contact with Amber Bird. Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So you can have contact, but it cannot be of a violent or harassing nature. Do you waive the formal reading of your charges, or do you want them read to you?
You can waive the, or yeah, can you read them to me, please? I don't know exactly.
All right. The probable cause affidavit indicates on June 20th, 2020 in Clayton County, Georgia, at 8263 Kendrick Road in Jonesboro, said offender did punch the victim's front door, breaking the door window. This event happened in Clayton County. The victim is Amber Bird. Both parties are siblings, making this family violence. All right, I'm going to appoint an attorney. Do you think you'll be able to post your bond, sir?
No, ma'am. I don't have anybody's phone number, anything. I don't know how to. I was hoping I could get a OR bond or something, but because I'm not even from here, I'm from Texas.
We don't do oral bonds on family violence charges.
But I didn't.
Do you want to waive your preliminary hearing to expedite your case to state court?
Yes.
All right, so they will have a waiver form for you to sign, and then you'll be excused to go back with the deputy. All right, thank you, sir. Juan Cooper. After Mr. Cooper will be Eric Clayton.
Okay, Clayton is on the way up. We getting him sent up, Judge. Clayton not here yet.
Okay. All right, well, I'll move him. Just let me know when he comes. Well, then what about Jeremy Durden? Do you have him?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so after Mr. Cooper will be Jeremy Durden. All right, good morning, sir. Mr. Cooper, you're charged with identity fraud. You have a $5,000 bond, giving a false name, address, or date of birth, $1,500 bond, no insurance, $1,000 bond, and a child restraint violation, a $500 bond. You have a special condition not to violate any laws while on bond. Sir, do you waive the formal reading of your charges, or do you want them read to you?
I waive, but how much is all that together?
Let me see, 5, 6, it's $8,000 altogether for all 4 charges. I'm going to appoint an attorney to represent you. Do you think you'll be able to post your $8,000 bond?
I ain't got no choice. Probably, I'm gonna have to.
All right, your preliminary hearing is set for, okay. Your preliminary hearing is set for July 27th at 8 o'clock in courtroom 203. And sir, if you bond out before July 27th, that hearing will automatically be waived by law, and you'll get your next court date in the mail. All right, thank you, sir.
All right.
Jeremy Durden. And then next will be Dwight George. Good morning, sir.
How you doing?
I'm good. I saw you yesterday, right?
Yeah, I think yes, ma'am.
All right. I think this is the same case, but they added another charge, party to a crime. $10,000 bond. Special condition not to violate any laws while on bond. Do you waive the formal reading of the charges, or do you want them read to you?
You didn't tell me the charge. What was the charge?
Party to a crime.
What is party to a crime?
All right, let me read the warrant to you. On June 15th, 2020 at 149 Timberland Trail in Riverdale, the defendant did commit the offense of party to a crime against the state of Georgia, and that said defendant did intentionally aid or abet in the commission of the crime armed robbery, to wit, Jeremy Durden, along with Eric Clayton, Marquarius Holloway, discussed hitting a lick and followed the victim to her residence, where both Mr. Clayton and Mr. Durden stayed inside a stolen 2019 Hyundai Accent, Georgia license plate number RQM9908, while Marquarius Holloway and Jeremy Fitzpatrick exited the vehicle and robbed the victim at gunpoint. All right, I'm going to appoint an attorney. So it'll be just like yesterday, you had an attorney appointed. Do you think you can post this $10,000 bond?
If I post this one, I still got to pay the other bonds, don't I?
Yep.
So that'll be like $30,000 in bonds.
I don't know how many. I know you had the charge from. What was your bond yesterday?
10,000 for. I think it was 10,000 for. 5,000 for theft by receiving. 7,500 for.
Yeah. So whatever it was yesterday, plus this 10,000, and if you have, if you have any other charges, but yeah, you have to bond out on all the charges. The same preliminary hearing date that I gave you yesterday, July 27th at 8 o'clock in courtroom 203. All right. Thank you, sir. Dwight George, after Mr. George will be Toshiro Masliano.
I got Mr. Clayton. I could get Mr. Clayton after George, sir.
Okay.
All right, come on, George.
All right. You are Mr. George?
Ma'am.
All right. Mr. George, you're charged with possession of marijuana, 1 ounce or less. Your bond is $1,500. Also driving on a suspended or revoked license, another $1,500 bond. Sir, I'm going to release you on your own recognizance and let you sign a signature bond. You have a condition not to violate any laws while you are out on bond. Do you waive the formal reading of your charges, or do you want them read to you?
I waive, ma'am.
All right. And since I am releasing you on a signature bond, I'll need for you to sign a waiver of the preliminary hearing, and then you'll get your next court date in the mail.
Ma'am.
All right. Thank you, sir.
That's Clayton right there.
All right, Mr. Clayton, and after Mr. Clayton will be Toshiro Masliano. All right, Mr. Clayton, I saw you yesterday, right?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so I think it's the same case. They added party to a crime. Your bond is $10,000. Special condition not to violate any laws while on bond. Also going to appoint an attorney on this charge. Do you waive the formal reading of the charges, or do you want them read to you?
You can read it to me.
All right. On June 15th, 2020 at 149 Timberland Trail in Riverdale, this defendant did commit the offense of party to a crime against the state of Georgia, and that said defendant did intentionally aid or abet in the commission of the crime armed robbery, to wit, Jeremy Durden, along with Eric Clayton, Marquarius Holloway, discussed hitting a lick and followed the victim to her residence, where both Mr. Clayton and Mr. Durden stayed inside a stolen 2019 Hyundai Accent, Georgia license plate number RQM9908, while Marquarius Holloway and Jeremy Fitzpatrick exited the vehicle and robbed the victim at gunpoint. All right. Your preliminary hearing is set same date I gave you yesterday, July 27th at 8 o'clock in courtroom 203. Thank you, sir.
So this the same one for yesterday?
This is party to a crime. I forgot exactly. It was different. It was a similar charge. They could add more charges when it goes, but it's a similar charge, same crime, but it wasn't the same exact charge. So they added another one.
So now I got 3.
You had 2 yesterday?
Yes, because yesterday you told me the same thing about this Timberland Trail, 10,000.
Yep. So whatever charges you had yesterday plus this one, yes.
Little pen.
All right. Thank you, sir. Mr. Masliano?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And then next will be Travis Miller. All right, sir, you are charged with simple battery. You do not have a bond set because you're on 3 years probation in Clayton County Superior Court. You have a special condition to stay away and have no contact with Brianna Cyprian. Also not to violate any laws while you are on bond. Sir, do you waive the formal reading of your charges or do you want them read to you?
I waive.
All right. And sir, I'm going to appoint an attorney to represent you. Do you want to waive your preliminary hearing and expedite your case to state court?
I'm not sure what that means.
Your preliminary hearing will be set here in Magistrate Court for July 28th. Or you can waive that date if you want to get a sooner date in state court to try to resolve your case. You get a date in probably within a couple of weeks.
Yes, I waive.
All right, so they'll have a waiver form for you to sign. You'll get a date for state court later. And thank you, sir. You're excused to go with the deputy.
Excuse me. Will
Yes,
I
sir.
ever be able to get a bond?
That's really up to your probation officer, whoever, and whether or not they're going to file a warrant to violate your probation. So you can talk to your attorney about that because I've appointed an attorney to represent you.
Okay.
All right. Travis Miller, and after Mr. Miller will be Brandon Ringer. All right, are you Mr. Miller?
Ma'am.
All right, good morning, sir.
Morning.
You are charged with theft by receiving stolen property. Your bond is $2,000.
Yes, ma'am.
Special condition not to violate any laws while on bond.
Yes, ma'am.
You waive the formal reading of your charges, or do you want them read to you?
Waive.
Okay. And sir, I'm going to appoint an attorney to represent you.
Yes, ma'am.
Let me see. Do you want to waive your preliminary hearing to expedite your case to state court?
Yes, ma'am.
You do? Okay. And do you think you can post your $2,000 bond?
I can try. I can.
Okay. Well, if not, go ahead and sign the waiver and then you'll get a court date soon in state court.
Ma'am.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right. Brandon Ringer. After Mr. Ringer will be Peter Sanasi. All right. Are you Mr. Ringer?
No.
All right. Good morning, sir. You are charged with criminal trespass. Your bond is $2,500. Excuse me, public indecency, indecent exposure, $2,000 bond, and public drunk, a $1,000 bond. So your total is $5,500. You have a special condition not to return to or go upon the premises located at 3983 Scott Drive in Forest Park, not to violate any laws while on bond, and to have no violent or harassing contact with Angela Ringer. Sir, do you waive the formal reading of your charges?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. I'm going to appoint an attorney to represent you. Do you believe you'll be able to post your bond, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you want to waive your preliminary hearing and expedite your case to state court?
Yes.
All right. So they will have a waiver form for you to sign. All right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right. Are you Mr. Sanasi?
Lucy, yes.
Sanusi? All right. And then next will be Desford Saul. All right, Mr. Sanusi, you are charged with criminal damage to property in the first degree. Your bond is $5,000. You have a special condition to have no violent or harassing contact with Maria Fapuhunda. Hopefully I pronounced that correctly. Fapohunda is the last name. Sir, do you waive the formal reading of your charges or do you want them read to you?
Waive it, but I don't understand the charge.
Okay, well, I'll read it to you. The probable cause affidavit says on June 20th, 2020 in Clayton County, Georgia at 5890 Riverdale Road. Looks like apartment I-11 or F-11 in College Park. Said offender did with intent to kick 2 large televisions of the victim, Maria Fapuhunda, causing the televisions to shatter. The televisions were valued at, looks like $800, causing damage over $500. The offender and victim are mother and son who live together. This incident did occur in Clayton County, Georgia. Because of the amount, it is a felony charge. I'm going to appoint an attorney to represent you. Do you believe you'll be able to post your bond, sir?
Oh, man.
Your preliminary hearing is set for July 27th at 8 o'clock in courtroom 203. Thank you, sir.
I have to be here till then?
Thank you, sir.
Will I have to be here till then?
Have you bond out?
Or you can bond out. You have a $5,000 bond.
I'm not gonna be able to get that. So I have to be here for over a month.
Well, that's your next hearing. It's set July 27th.
So
I've appointed an attorney to represent you, so they'll come speak with you while you're in the jail. All right, thank you, sir. Desford Saul, and the next,
Mr. Martinez, will be the guy.
the interpreter.
Yes, ma'am. And then we got
Okay,
client
and then,
in the affirmative.
okay. Let, you're Mr. Saul?
Yes, I am.
All right, good morning, sir.
Good
You're
morning.
charged with driving on a suspended license, a $1,500 bond, expired or no license plate or decal, expired license plate, $500 bond, all unregistered tag or unlicensed tag, $500 bond, license failure to change address, $500 bond, improper lane change, $500 bond, no tag light, $500 bond. You have a special condition not to violate any laws while you are out on bond. Sir, do you waive the formal reading of your charges or do you want them read to you?
I do waive the formal reading of the charges.
Okay, sir, I'm going to appoint an attorney to represent you. Do you believe you'll be able to post your bond, sir?
I'm unsure, but I was hoping that I could have a few of those charges dismissed immediately, and I don't mind fighting the rest later on in court because
All right, they won't be dismissed at this time. So these are all the charges that are pending. You would be able to make your arguments when you go to court. So I've appointed an attorney to represent you. Do you want to waive your preliminary hearing and expedite your case to state court?
yes, I would like to expedite it.
All right, so they will have a waiver form for you to sign. And you should get a court date in state court probably within the next couple of weeks.
Okay,
If you bond out before then, that hearing would be waived and you'll get your next court date in the mail.
okay, thank you, Your Honor.
All right, thank you, sir.
This is Mr. Martinez, ma'am, and then we'll do client after him.
Okay, so let me, give me just a second. Let me call on the language line.
Yes.
Oh, hi, good morning, Anna. This is Judge Fox from Clayton County Magistrate Court. I have a Mr. Ramon Martinez. I'm gonna put you on speaker because I have him on Zoom. I just need to inform him of one criminal charge that's pending against him and his bond information.
Criminal charge, can I have a repetition of that last part, please?
Oh, and his bond information. All right. Good morning, Mr. Martinez.
Okay. What's your name, señor Martinez?
Dígame.
Sir, you are charged with battery.
Yo no soy muy experto en esto porque estoy recién llegado de mi país donde estaba y fui detenido de una vez.
Señor, ¿me escuchan?
A su orden.
Okay,
¿Me escuchan?
No se escucha.
Can you hear me? I don't know if you can hear me.
Ahora sí.
¿Me escucha?
Sí, escucho.
Muy bien. One more time, Judge, I apologize.
All right.
You hear what I said.
Sir, you are charged with battery.
Usted está haciendo... Un momento.
Que yo no soy...
Usted está siendo acusado
Step up a little closer to the monitor so he
con agresión. ¿Me escucha?
Speak it. Okay.
Señor, usted está siendo acusado
¿De qué?
de agresión.
¿Qué acción?
All right, sir, your bond is $4,000.
Y su fianza es de $4,000.
You have a special condition to stay away and have no contact with Bella Martinez.
Okay.
Ustedes tienen una fianza de $4,000 y tiene instrucciones de que tiene que mantenerse lejos de Bella Martínez.
Okay, es mi esposa.
Yes, that is my wife.
Okay.
You also cannot return to 9031 Jimmy Lee Circle in Jonesboro.
Okay.
Y usted no puede regresar a la dirección 9031 Jimmy Lee Circle in Jonesboro.
If you have personal property at that location, you can contact the sheriff's office to get an escort to take you back to that property.
Si usted tiene artículos personales en esa propiedad, tiene que hablarle al sheriff y ellos lo llevarán como una escolta para que le puedan recoger sus cosas.
You have a special condition not to violate any laws while on bond.
Okay.
Tiene condiciones también de que mientras está bajo fianza no puede romper ninguna ley.
No, está bien, no. Está bien.
The probable cause affidavit indicates that on June 20th, 2020, in Clayton County, Georgia, at 9031 Jimmy Lee Circle, you did commit the offense of battery.
La causa probable, I apologize, Judge, what was that date? I missed the date.
June 20th, 2020.
June 20th, thank you so much. En el 20 de junio, en el condado de Clayton, en Georgia, usted tiene la ofensa de que cometió agresión.
Okay.
By biting said victim, Bella Martinez, on her right arm, leaving a bruise on her arm.
Pegarle a Bella Martínez en el brazo derecho, dejándole un moretón.
Eso fue
This offense falls under the Family Violence Act due to both said victim, Bella Martinez, and said offender, Ramon Martinez, being married and residing within the same residence.
Ok,
Esto fue cuando Bella y Ramón vivían en la misma dirección.
está bien.
That's fine.
All right, sir, I'm going to appoint an attorney to represent you.
Un abogado a que lo pueda representar.
¿Qué me dijo?
Le vamos a asignar un abogado para que lo pueda representar.
Pero cuando, hoy o mañana, o cuando, porque yo no vivo aquí, muy cerca de aquí, yo ni sé dónde vivo aquí. Esto estoy medio problemático, pues, porque
Today or tomorrow, because I'm not sure. I don't live near here.
Do you think you're going to be able to post your $4,000 bond?
Pienso que le pueden poner su fianza de $4,000. Señor Martínez,
dígame,
¿me escuchó?
dígame, la escucho.
¿Va a poder poner su fianza de $4,000?
Pero figúrese, yo soy un pobre, que no tengo nada. Yo lo que tengo son 3 hijos, 3 hijas, 2 hembras y un varón, y yo los cuido, y la doña a veces tengo que estar sacando a ella.
Disculpe, ¿usted va a poder pagar su fianza de $4,000?
Pero yo no tengo dinero, señora. Mire, yo vine de yo no sé dónde estoy. Ahora mismo yo no sé dónde estoy.
And I have 3 daughters and 3 sons that I take care of. I have no money.
Okay. Sir, you can have a preliminary hearing on July 28th, or you can waive that hearing and get a sooner court date in state court, probably within a couple of weeks.
One moment. Tiene una cita en la corte el 28 de julio, una audiencia en la corte, o usted puede que le den una cita antes, renunciar a esa cita y que le den una antes, unas semanas después.
El problema es que yo no tengo dinero. Yo no tengo dinero. Dinero no tengo. Porque el dinero que yo tenía era para darle la comida a
No money, that's a problem.
mis 3, 2 hembras y un varón.
Do you want the sooner court date in state court?
¿Quiere una cita en la corte antes del 28 de julio?
Sí.
I apologize, Judge. I'm not sure if he answered. I cannot hear.
Who said C?
Sí.
Okay. You'll have to sign a waiver form, and then you'll get a court date in state court probably in a couple of weeks.
Va a tener que llenar un formulario donde usted renuncia a la cita del 28 y le van a dar una cita antes en unas cuantas semanas.
All right, thank you, sir.
Okay.
Gracias.
All right.
Thank you so much for your services, Judge.
All right.
Do you have any other phone calls for me?
Nope, that's it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a wonderful day.
Bye.
Name, senor.
Number.
Name.
Signature.
Signature.
Judge, we're gonna disconnect and go on down to the infirmary.
We going to.
Okay.
Oh, and Judge,
Yes.
Tyra Hill was a B&B, ma'am.
What's that mean?
She's going home.
Print,
Oh, okay. She's already bonded out?
Yes, ma'am.
print number.
Okay.
That was the one for you wanted the slip filled out for that was destroyed yesterday.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Fine.
Apologies. Okay, we gonna be on out for a minute. We go for a couple of minutes, okay?
Okay.
Right, Judge.
Thank you.
Judge, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
That's Mr. Klein right there.
All right, Mr. Kleins, I'm Judge Fox. I'm going to do your first appearance hearing this morning. Sir, you are charged with terroristic threats or acts. Your bond is $10,000. You have a special condition to stay away and have no contact with James Williams. Also not to violate any laws while you are out on bond. Sir, the probable cause affidavit indicates on June 19th of 2020 in Clayton County at 8971 Ashwood Drive in Riverdale, that you did threaten to commit a crime of violence against the victim, James Williams. To wit, during an argument between the victim and offender, the victim did threaten to cut the victim's throat. The threat was corroborated by the witness, Reginald Campbell, and the offender admitted to threatening the victim. The victim and the offender live together. All right. Sir, I'm going to appoint an attorney to represent you. Your preliminary hearing is set for July 27th at 8 o'clock in courtroom 203. And sir, you also have a special condition not to return to 8971 Ashwood Drive in Riverdale. Thank you, sir.
All right, Judge.
All right, so that will conclude these hearings.